Hey everybody, it's Tim Art here. Going to talk to you about the biceps curl today, specifically a barbell biceps curl. I want to give you 3 tips to help you perform a perfect biceps curl. Now, the biceps curl is an exercise that's been around forever. A lot of people do it, but we still see a lot of people screwing it up. For example, using a lot of body English or letting the weight fly up and down. But if we want to get the most out of our biceps curl, it's best if we let the biceps muscle actually do the work, and these 3 tips will help you do just that. Before we get to the tips, I want to talk to you about what I mean by letting the muscles do the work for you. Now, by swinging the weight around and cheating, doing all these things, you can still get results. But again, these tips are really to maximize muscular participation because you want to get strong throughout the entire range of the exercise, not just in parts of it. And that's what these tips are really meant to do. All right, so before we get into the first tip, obviously with every exercise, you got to get set up properly to do it. So we're going to assume that we're looking for a tall posture with the hands down by the side before we do this, okay? Now, here's the tip, okay? Most people stand with their feet together. What I want is one foot slightly in front of the other. It doesn't have to be huge or anything like that. All this is going to do is increase your base of support front to back or anterior to posterior, however you want to say it. But what that does is when you bring this bar up, it's going to shift your center of mass forward, okay? And a lot of times, especially if it's heavy, that's going to push it far enough forward where you have to kind of either lean back to keep your center of mass over your base of support, or you're going to fall forward, okay? So we're just increasing that base of support. You'll see a lot of people when their feet are together doing this, okay? And this isn't very heavy, so I'm not swaying very much, but you'll see them doing that, okay? And that can cause a problem because what we'll generally do is lean, force it back like that. So one foot in front of the other, just like this, and all you're gonna do is curl up like that, and that allows me to maintain my tall posture while I do this, and again, keeps the biceps doing the work for me. So again, it doesn't have to be a very large stagger here, just a little bit. It works really well with all my clients. Okay, so the next tip, okay, so it's all about how to perform this exercise or what we're thinking about when we're doing it. So it's really a cue, okay? And so when you see a lot of people perform a biceps curl, all they're thinking about is getting the bar from point A to point B, okay? And when we think that, or thinking up and down, we don't really care how we're getting it there, we're getting it there at all costs, okay? So instead of thinking up or down, what I have my clients do is I say, think about bend and extend. So you're just bending your elbows and then thinking about extending them, okay? So when you're doing that, you're no longer concerned with how the bar gets there or just getting it from point A to point B. You're actually using your biceps to control that motion up, because all you're thinking about is bending the elbow, and then the next part is extending it. Another tip that kind of helps with this is once you get about halfway, that bar no longer is going up, okay? It's actually starting to curve in towards you. So think about squeezing that bar into you. Because again, if you're thinking up, you drive the elbows forward, a lot of people end up finishing like this, okay? If you keep your elbows to your side and think bend, and here you start to think about bringing it into you, it really gives you a nice good contraction at the end of the rep there. Give you a nice good pump, but also again, as I mentioned at the beginning, it makes sure that your bicep is actually doing the work. Okay, so the last tip, okay? So a lot of people do a bicep curl, and you've seen this before, and they just let it fall down, okay? The exercise is only half over once you get it here. We still have a lot of work to do, okay? And so this is that whole bend extend part. This is the extend, okay? We gotta control it on the way down. So one cue I use with my clients quite a bit is as you're bringing that bar down, think about that you're setting it on a pane of glass, and you gotta do it real soft in order for it not to break. If you just let it fall and catch it, then it's gonna break, okay? So it should look a lot like this. Moving in a nice controlled way, got my feet staggered, okay, and I'm using my biceps to bend and extend. Now what you see a lot of people do is they'll swing it up and then just let it fall. Not getting a whole lot of work done doing that way. So again, feet staggered, keep your elbows aside, think bend, and then extend it in a controlled manner, and then tighten the biceps up to bend it again, okay? So again, it's a basic exercise that a lot of people are still screwing up, so hopefully these tips help you perform a perfect curl.